Anyway, so today I'd like to look at some of the anti-male stereotypes and anti-male double standards that we see in the media. A little later we're going to break up into groups and we're going to address different aspects of the problem, and we're going to see what solutions and what activism we can come up with. But I think these stereotypes have a very negative impact on our boys. One of the ways that a kid develops and progresses and achieves and becomes something is by developing a role model type relationship with somebody who's successful, who they admire. And our media is so negative about men that it just seems like with every man there's some perceived bad side or foolish side or side that shouldn't be respected or whatever. And I think that really undermines this role model type relationship. And I think, a lot of boys look and say, well, gee, if all I can grow up to be is either a bad guy or a fool, I don't know that I want to grow up. I don't know that I want to achieve. I don't know that I want to strive. And I think it kind of makes them listless and makes them aimless. And, I see a lot of this. My son's now in high school, and for most of his childhood, I've intentionally shielded him and my daughter from my work. I want them to make up their own minds. I don't want them to feel like I'm pulling them in one way or another. But more and more I see my son bringing home this negativity, bringing home these views, and it's just very disturbing. So anyway, today I'm going to focus on some of these anti-male stereotypes and anti-male double standards that we see in the media, and I think all of our boys at one time or another are going to be confronted with these. So I think it's a very relevant issue for them. First double standard I'd like to talk about in the media is if there's an act of violence committed, and it's committed by a woman, it's not really violence. Example, some of you may have seen this a few weeks ago. Amy Winehouse, who is a popular singer in the UK, singer-songwriter in the UK, she is openly bragging about getting drunk and beating up her husband. She's quoted in a story, quote, "I'll beat up Blake," Blake's her husband. "I'll beat up Blake when I'm drunk. If he says one thing I don't like, then I'll chin him." And, this has been widely reported. I haven't seen in the many articles I've read about it, I have not seen one word of condemnation. I haven't seen I don't know what it's called, but the UK Domestic Violence Society, whatever they are, I haven't seen them come out against this. I haven't seen any criticism. Maybe there's been something somewhere, but in most of these articles I haven't seen any criticism of her. She's all set to perform at Lollapalooza in August. Nobody's making an issue of it. I have a hard time believing that a guy could, a singer or a musician, a male musician could go to Lollapalooza and, expect that he can, brag about getting drunk and beating up his wife and still even perform, still even have a career. Another example of this double standard from a couple of years ago. Some of you perhaps have heard the song or seen the music video for Carrie Underwood's "Before He Cheats." In it she says, her boyfriend is cheating, or ex-boyfriend, whatever he is. "I dug my key," this is the lyrics of the song, "I dug my key into the side of his pretty little souped-up four-wheel drive, carved my name into his leather seats. I took a Louisville Slugger to both headlights, slashed a hole in all four tires." And there's a revenge video of Carrie Underwood carrying this Louisville Slugger and just absolutely annihilating this guy's car. Now, obviously, violence against a person's property is not the same as physical violence. I would never in a million years say that, and I think actually some of our misguided opponents sometimes blur that line. But destroying an intimate partner's property is considered domestic violence. It's a part of the whole realm of domestic violence. And there's been nothing on this. No criticism that I've seen at all. This thing won awards. It won the Country Music Television Video of the Year, Female Video of the Year. This is one. I think this is really sad for women. This was the first video in history made by a woman to win Video of the Year. Now, how sad is that for women, that the first time they've won Video of the Year is with this video. And, it was #1 on the country music television charts, and it's just been very popular. The song's very popular. Nobody said a word. Now, after I wrote about this, some people said, well, we should have a male equivalent of this and see what it's like, about a man, he's jealous, so he goes and destroys his girlfriend's car and stalks her and all of this stuff. And there actually is a male equivalent. And there was somebody who recorded a song, the male equivalent. But the male equivalent is not before she cheats. The male equivalent is before I cheat. And he talks about how, well, you know, I'd like to cheat because, of course, I'm a lying scumbag. I'm male. That's what I do. You know, I'd like to cheat, but if I do, she's going to do this and she's going to do that. And, of course, she'd be 100% justified in doing it. That's the flip side of it. Nobody sees, that I've seen, nobody sees the double standard here, the hypocrisy here. Another example, perhaps some of you saw, there's a Sprint commercial where there's a woman, she's a powerful female executive for whatever company, and she has two male underlings, and they decide to hide one of her things. I guess they hide her Sprint cell phone or something, just as like a joke. They think it's a joke. And she is pissed off, and she puts both of them in the emergency room. You know, she assaults them. They're both in the emergency room, and then the video ends, not the video, the TV ad ends, and they're in the emergency room. And one guy has like this big bandage on his head, the other guy's like getting operated on. And the lady's just sitting there with her laptop typing away, you know, perfectly entitled to her anger, perfectly entitled to her violence, perfectly entitled to her, you know, revenge, whatever it is, without a hint that this is wrong. Another example, some of you may remember around Valentine's Day, the Detroit News, on the front page of their website, this is a major newspaper, front page of their website, they have an ad, and it's got a man, and he's got a black eye, and a woman is punching him. It's not an ad for domestic violence, you know, don't let your wife assault you, or if you're being abused, call this number, or any violence is wrong, or whatever. It's get her the right gift or she'll punch you in the face. You need to get her the right gift for Valentine's Day, or this is what she's going to do. Some of you may remember, I sent out an action alert on that, and like within a few hours we had like 500 people write the Detroit News over it. And to their credit, they yanked it. They yanked it right off the website, so I will give them credit for that. Another example, I'll just read you a little bit of an article. This is one of my favorites. Police, woman's road rage targets wrong car. Driver runs stranger's car off-road, police say. A woman who was angry at her ex-boyfriend for seeing another woman rammed the wrong car when she tried to get even with him, police said. The 43-year-old woman ran a Chevrolet Sprint off the road. Police said the woman was stunned to see the man who got out of the car was not her boyfriend, but instead a volunteer firefighter. Oh my God, that's not my boyfriend, she said. The woman had mistaken the car for her boyfriend's car, police said. That's not road rage. Trying to destroy your, you know, trying to smash into your boyfriend or your ex-boyfriend and hurt him or injure him in a car accident or destroy his car, that's not road rage. What is it? Domestic, well, it's all those things too, but it's domestic violence. It's intimate partner violence. It's domestic violence. It's not road rage. Road rage is, you know, he's mad because he cut him off, so he, you know, throws a fit and tries to bang into. That's road rage. This is domestic violence, yet they never mention the word. Another case, and I've done a lot on this stuff, those of you who, if any of you are familiar with my work, where they never mention domestic violence is the Clara Harris case. Okay, for those of you who don't remember, Clara Harris, the murder by Mercedes case, she was a Houston woman whose husband was having an affair. Evidence is pretty good that Clara Harris was also having an affair, but nobody talks about that, even though it was said in open court. But anyway, she got mad and she confronted him, and then she ran him over in their Mercedes and ran him over 3 times, circling around, and killed him. And you know, this was a brutal, brutal crime. And the worst part about it, in my mind, was that as Clara Harris was driving over and over and over, murdering David Harris's daughter, Clara's stepdaughter, David Harris's daughter, 16-year-old daughter, was there in the front seat with her, begging her not to kill her father.